It is okay to go 5 miles over the speed limit.
Oh. Where do you cap out? Let's go with that.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, 10.
10?
10.
Ooh, what if it was, it's rude to go less than 5 miles over the speed limit?
Oh.
True, yeah.
Oh. It is, actually.
Yeah. Hey there, welcome to Board Game Barrister, our local game shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Andy, and I'm here with Ian, Lee, and Gordon, and today we're talking Agree to Disagree, a game where we're going to make divisive statements to the table and then try to find people we disagree with using these little USB devices. Let's get into it. Welcome to Agree to Disagree, a game where the more you disagree with your fellow players, the more points you're going to score. Everyone at the table is going to grab one of these little USB devices. They're two-sided, and on one side you can see that there is a heart and a crossed-out heart symbol. The heart signifies positive feelings, the crossed out heart means negative feelings. We'll get to why that matters in a second. To get the first round started, one player at the table is going to be our moderator for the round. Don't worry, they still get to play the entire round. And the player to their right is going to flip 2 cards, one off each stack, and choose a category for that moderator. Let's say they chose breakfast for this first round here. Now it comes to that moderator to name something within that category or make a statement that they think is going to divide the table. This could be as simple as saying something like grits, because you're pretty sure players are going to have very different positive or negative feelings about grits. Or it could be something more specific like syrup on eggs. Or even something more comparative, like you could say pancakes are better than waffles. Let's say the moderator announces to the table, syrup on eggs. Now everybody at the table, that moderator included, are going to choose whether they feel positively or negative toward syrup on eggs, and they are going to flip over their device with their opinion facing toward the center. So in this case, our secret opinion would be negative toward syrup on eggs. Once everybody's got their answers plugged in, the player to the moderator's left is going to choose somebody at the table they would like to form a connection with. Now forming a connection means you're literally going to plug your USB device into somebody else's using the sides that you faced toward the center of the table. So your opinion is going directly into the other player's device. There are 2 different ways this connection can end. One of them is if you agreed with each other, meaning you put the same answer in as the other player, those devices aren't quite going to go flush. They can't make it all the way inserted. Whereas if you disagreed with the other player, those devices will go all the way flush with each other. So if it was this player going first, and you can see here that they did feel positively about syrup on eggs, they choose another player, they form a connection, and if they do get that full flush connection, meaning they disagreed with the player they chose, they score points for it. So you always want to pick somebody you think you'll disagree with. The cards, in addition to being your categories, are also your point trackers. Now for correctly guessing, our active player is going to score 2 points for forming a disagreed connection. Every time there's a disagreement, the moderator scores 1 point, so the moderator is going to score 1 point here as well. And this is awesome because it means the moderator is always looking to create as divisive a topic as possible when they announce something to the table. And then the active player, after they make their guess, is done for the round, so they can't be selected by another player. The passive player, who that connection was formed with, is going to go next, whether it was a disagreement or an agreement. They're going to choose somebody else at the table they want to try to connect with, and we're going to go on from there until there are only 2 players left at the table. As soon as we're down to 2 players, each of those players is going to take one of these little agree or disagree tokens, and they can score points just by guessing whether they agree or disagree with each other. After that final connection, the round is over. The player to the moderator's left becomes the new moderator, and we do it all over again. We're going to keep playing, scoring those card points for exactly as long as we're still having fun, so as long as we feel like. We played 2 times around the table so that everybody was the moderator twice. That felt pretty perfect to us, but you can play as short or as long as you want to.
Garbanzo beans make everything better.
Wow. That is a very
That's a bold statement.
Wow.
I choose Gordon.
Get in there. Get it.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So
terrible.
good.
All right, so we played today for the first time with 4. When I was reading the back of the box for game selection, I kind of thought that 4 wasn't going to be a good fit, and I was dead wrong. It was amazing at 4. I really, really loved it. We just had a long conversation about how we think it would be the difference between 4 and the higher players up to 8. You've got enough devices for 8 people. We think it'll be great across all of those player counts. But I was really surprised at how enjoyable it was at 4. The 2 people making the matching in kind of the normal guessing, and then that third, do you agree, disagree, flowed really well, and it mattered, and it was a really good party game of 4 players, and I really liked it.
I do think that it's another one that leans well into an odd number of players as well. So like a lot of times you get those weird team games where you're like, well, we got 5 or 7, and this one will fit perfectly fine with an odd number of people because it just each player just adds an extra connection element during the gameplay loop that, again, having 5 or 7 is not going to deter that at all.
There is going to be this little bit of a non-obvious learning curve where the cards give you prompts, but they're really broad. This is not a game where the card is going to tell you what you're going to talk about. You are generating the topics that you're going to be doing, and that does take a little bit of work.
Yeah, I think the topic inspiration was very helpful because you could, I mean, it has the sections of being obvious, being yourself. You don't have to have a personal input on that topic. It just, you want to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
So just even like when you're doing an agree to disagree, you know, again, it goes into like, oh, I didn't think that you thought that. Like, I was just saying something funny.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, maybe we can discuss that later. It's like,
Yeah.
did that actually like matter to you or not? I don't know.
The Fu Manchu can look good.
Oh. Sweets are better than salty treats.
Oh boy.
A lot of times where you've got one person trying to create a discussion topic out of thin air, sometimes that can be a weird lull in a game. And in this one, that the table talk that's generated by just the topic prompt cards allows the rest of the table to josh around while the clue giver is or the opinion giver is thinking of their opinion to state, and everybody else gets this good table talk joshing around moment that actually helps inspire. And one of the things it tells you to do is to take other players' inspirations to take whatever divisive topic there is. Country music is one of the best genres, or like something like that, right?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think that
Country
would be
music has
divisive.
value.
Or you could do, yeah. That's a great.
I like that one.
Also, the components and the stuff in the box for this game is all so clever and intentional. Like, obviously the little devices are the first cool thing, and like, while it's kind of a gimmick and you're like, okay, we've got our little USB devices to see if we do the thing or the other thing, they're actually a very genius thing in and of themselves. Whether or not they were shaped this way, the fact that you are able to test whether you agreed with somebody else without revealing to the rest of the table whether you agreed with somebody else, secretly with doing that, is awesome. The suspense it builds as you lead up to whether or not they're going to go all the way in flush or stop short is awesome. And then the topic cards themselves act as the points in the game. The oranges have a little 1, the blues have a little 2, and that's how you score the game. Like, there's so little in the box, and all of it works really cohesively with each other. It's fantastically designed. Alright, I think that does it for Agree to Disagree. Despite the goal of the game to disagree with each other, we actually all agree this game is fantastic, and we hope you had fun watching. Hit that like button, leave a comment if you got one, subscribe if you want to see our videos every week when we post a new one, and check out our online store. Agree to Disagree is in there, as well as a bunch of other awesome games. Thanks so much for joining us this time, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.